Hello, hello, hello. Well, I'm here. I'm definitely here. No one else is here though. Just me. What should we do? What should we do? Just got to wait, I suppose. Just wait it out. Just wait it out. Oh, Cyrus is in. He's in first. He's out of trap 1, I believe. He's not messing around. He is here. And indeed, well, hey, we shall wait and see if there are any more people coming to the live stream. Make yourself known. Make yourself known. And don't be afraid to, to say hello. Brendan's in, and he says he's got the old Farmer Giles. That's good. Piles of money, I hope. Piles of money. Rubber ring, that's all I can suggest. Let's hope. Anusol. It's a cream. Anusol. True. It's the only cream that actually tells you where you need to rub it, and it's for the Farmer Giles. Anusol. There you go. Tim Jones is here. It's not unusual. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that this week. But I bet he's yearning for the green grass of home. Tim Jones, Tom. I've run out of material. I'm only 2 minutes in. Pains in. The first of the many pains has arrived. For there are 2 pains. This is the first pain. There is a second pain. Oh yeah. We have 2 pains. They might be twins. Conrad's in and he says, good evening. It's getting closer to good night, isn't it, really? Good night and farewell. But yeah. What should we talk about? Well, I read the new Hackett biography. That was good. That was good. I don't know if I'll show you a spoiler. Who wants a spoiler from the Hackett biography? If you follow me on the twits, you already. It's second pains in. I told you we had 2 pains, didn't we? But yeah, here's a little spoiler from the Hackett biography. It's quite a good one. Of course, I will be making many a joke about this when I do the review, because it's almost like Mr. Hackett, God bless his cotton socks, put it in the book just for me to use. The missus provides foamy beverages. Ow. Thank you. For it is a foamy one. There's foam. A foamy beverage. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Mr. Hackett's biography. And the title of it is explained in the book. It's not the best title though for a biography. When you find out what the actual reasoning is, you'll go, "Oh, I wouldn't, yeah." But there we go. But anyway, this is a very controversial thing. This is an exclusive about how Mr. Hackett annoyed the featured artist. It's all about cheese. Indeed, it's all about cheese. You can see me behind. Look, ooh. Read this, and this explains the kind of the childishness I'm dealing with when it comes to those guys. Yeah, the petty-minded, the small petty-mindedness of these individuals. Remember, never steal his cheese, because he's like an elephant. He never forgets. And there you go. Oh no, it's Ryan Calhoun. Oh yeah, something about blocking him. Yeah, bye. Because we don't need to see him, because Ryan Calhoun runs soccer accounts, so don't need to deal with that nonsense. Bye. But there you go. But there we go. So that was a thing. And I'm back in the room, and Cheesegate has gone. But that is, again, the thing about the Hackett biography. It's a slim volume. That's not a bad thing, because I rattled through it in an afternoon. It hurtles along. It's incredibly candid. Some bits are probably omitted because of NDAs. I came to that, expecting that. But he talks very forthright and very candidly, and it's nothing like the Steve Howe biography, thank goodness. And it made me love Steve Hackett just a little bit more, you see. Just a little bit more. Because I've got... a little bit of my heart is dedicated to Hackett. I know I've given him a hard time with his recent albums. That's because I love him so much. Honest. It's true. He's the reason I do the musics and that. I listened to Voyage of the Acolyte and Defector too much when I was 17. But yeah, so I'll be doing a review of that, and it'll be hidden behind the paywall. Sorry. That's me behind the paywall. That's me going back behind. Now out of the paywall. Now back. There we go. Yeah, that's it. Kitten, I've got so distracted by the cheese, I've forgotten who's here. Kitten Care says hello. Shear says Hackett is 100% better than the band Manson, who are crap. A little bit out there. I wouldn't say Manson are crap, but apples and oranges. Payne says hard cheese. Indeed it was. But now we know why we never got a Hackett and the featured artist collaboration. It's all about the cheese. You'd think it'd be about him, I don't know, stealing his girlfriend or you know, I don't know, nicking a riff or, you know, no, cheese. There you go. Payne says, well, that was fast. What, me reading the book? Yeah, I'm a very fast reader, and I am. I used to devour, when I used to go on holiday, when we could afford, when we both had careers. When I had a career, when I was a functioning member of society, we used to go on holiday. I used to read books by the bucket load. Back in the old days when, you know, one holiday I read it was an anthology. It was a collection of Irving Welsh's novels, all in one big volume, and I read the whole thing in like 4 days. It was great. Those were the days. Mrs. says, slow down. Those things aren't cheap. Brennan says, it seems his solo career is brushed over in favour of Genesis tales. Not really. He talks about his solo career. Again, it depends what you want. People come for the Genesis stuff, don't they? I don't know. I mean, what stories has he got to tell? There's not going to be any friction or, you know, that kind of stuff within his own solo career. It's the interesting stuff is the Genesis material. But yeah, he mentions his solo career, and he, like I said, he's very candid about the various adventures he's had. So you know, it's never going to please anyone. I enjoyed it. That's it. But you know, I can understand people. You know, there's only at the end where it starts to. But again, I was, you know, how do you resolve an autobiography? How do you resolve it? You know, the ending is always a bit. You know, sometimes can be a bit of a stick landing, I think they call it, and this one is a bit like that. I thought the ending was again also needs a bit of editing too. He does, you know, not necessarily repeat himself, but it bounces around a bit, and you have to really follow the bouncing ball sometimes. But you know, I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more than Steve Howe's book, and it's falls more in line with Phil Collins' biography in terms of candidness and that. So yeah. Payne says, does he say anything about Tony Banks? Yeah, he does. Simon says, how does it compare with Phil's Not Dead Yet? They share the same level of candidness. I think Hackett is a lot more respectful to people, even people whose cheese he steals. There are a couple of things I took umbrage with. He got a little bit touchy about the reviews from, like, I don't know, Melody Maker and places like that, when, you know, the punk thing happened, and he smarts. And again, you shouldn't really take any notice of your reviews if you're an artist. You should just plough on. And he also is fairly disparaging about Malcolm McLaren, who was brought in by Charisma as an advisor, in the 80s, early 80s, and he forgets that McLaren knew a lot about music. I mean, crikey, he single-handedly brought hip hop to the masses with his, the Double Dutch album, and did fusion with classical music. I'm a big fan of McLaren. I think he's a very clever guy, but he was like, oh, McLaren's the reason I got kicked from Charisma. No, it's because your albums didn't sell, and at the end of it, you need albums that sell, don't you? Sorry, Steve. It's not like now where everyone will blow smoke up your bum because one hand washes the other. Access, blowing smoke guarantees access and all that. I'm more of crikey, I'm not even nowhere near close to the Melody Maker and Record Mirror and the magazines, the music mags of the 70s. I mean, their criticism was vicious. I'm more playful with it than anything else, and so I'm nothing. I mean, some of the if you go back and read some of those reviews, you go, blimey, how'd they get away with that? How? Because they didn't have to worry about the advertising, because people bought magazines. And Q closes. Q is finally ended. I stopped buying it 20 odd years ago. And the reason why is because I kept reading articles about Van Morrison. And I think I read an article in Uncut. And it was almost kind of semi-repeated in Q magazine. It wasn't the same article, but it was very familiar. And I just thought, I'm sick of reading about Van Morrison. And that was the main reason. Yeah, there we go. But I thought it was alright. How's it all going? It certainly is going. How's my groove been? My groove has been, a bit trouble. My hand was hurting, but I think we may have tracked it down. I keep saying that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Just my hand. Oh, hand. Payne says, cheese and Marcel, you spoiled us tonight. Absolutely, got to mix up the material. Shear says, don't buy Red Leicester cheese, it could contain COVID-19. Don't believe it. We all know it's caused by 5G masts. Come on. Cyrus says, if there is a box set for Love Beach and set it for record, how what would I do? Well, I wouldn't buy it because Love Beach is a load of shite. And I'm kind of done with buying big box sets, to be honest. One, I can't afford it, and two, they hold no interest for me anymore. I'm all box set out. There's very few. Yeah, I don't know. No, nobody cares about it. ELP have actually got a new compilation coming out, haven't they? Because Carl Palmer's threatening, I think it's next year, 50th, and apparently some 50th, but I'm sure, didn't ELP start in 1970? I don't know. I'm sure the 50th anniversary is this year. Oh, we can't do anything because of COVID. And that's a shame. But I'm sure there'll be an ELP box set or two coming soon because of the 50th anniversary. Maybe. But no, I'd ignore a Love Beach box set. For Simon says, if there are more anecdotes like the cheese one, I will buy the Hackett bio. Like I said, he's very generous to people. He's not a man who holds any malicious, except for Malcolm McLaren and the journalists of the 1970s. Again, he was one of those people I don't think took punk very well. And again, I don't think he really understood what punk was. What it needed to be. Again, the excesses of rock and roll. If you're part of that, system, you're going to think everything's fine and dandy. But if you're a kid, and you're watching all this and thinking, this doesn't, it doesn't relate to me, especially in the 70s. I mean, crikey, the 70s was bleak. Power cuts and industrial action. I don't think progressive rock lent itself so well to the late 70s as it did to the early 70s. From prog rock is a byproduct of the swinging 60s, of the Beatles and technology coming together. And I think by the time the late 70s came around, mid to late 70s, whenever you want to phrase that part, it was like, let's burn it all down. And then the funny thing was, his technology was then embraced by the new romantics and the kind of the electronica movement of the 80s. So it's kind of funny how these things come and go. But no, it's an engaging read. That's it. I think you learn more about the man. You certainly get a feel for who Steve Hackett is, and that's that. And it's nothing like that fucking awful Steve Howe biography, which was appalling in comparison. I've got the Chris France one coming. That should be interesting, because again, he does talk an awful lot about the dynamic with David Byrne and Brian Eno. So I'm going to be reading that one. That should be coming in the next few days, because I know it's in the post. So yeah, should be good fun. Peter says, eating too much cheese, top that motley crew. Absolutely. Patrick says, good evening, Darren. How did you break your arm when you were younger? You often mention it in some of your videos. I think I've mentioned it a couple of times. I fell up some stairs. Not downstairs, upstairs. There you go. Ajax says, seems you're a man of many talents. Got an Amazon gift card from my brother today for my 40th birthday. Found book, bought it straight away. Can't wait to get stuck in. Okay, depends which book it was, because there is another Darren Locke. If it's about the history of Walworth, I think it's Walworth, it's not me. But if it's one of the many, I've uploaded 3 really badly written novels. I think it's 3: Moofed, Man of the World, and Dead Rockstar. Dead Rockstar was meant to be for like the teen audience. It was just like a teen, one of those teen novels. Moofed was something I wrote a long time ago, but just before like the internet became popular. It was about online communication and people chatting in chat rooms. I can't even remember what it was about, because I wrote it 24 years ago. And Man of the World is my attempt at doing Irving Welsh, and it's thoroughly disgusting and horrible, and I wrote it to shock the people I was working with at the time, because I'd feed them little chapters and I'd read it to them, and I'd try and just outgross them, and a lot of what was in that came to pass. So there you go. But yeah, if it's the history of Walworth, which is an area of London, that ain't me. Payne says he should have mentioned the Howard Stern of Progony's book. Oh God, I think I'd have fallen off my chair. But I do think the cheese story was for me. I'd like to think it was for me. I'm such an egotist. And also, he's a version to Brussels sprouts. That chimed with me. I thought, now this is a man I can get on with. This is a man I understand, for he finds the humble Brussels sprout as repulsive as I do, and that made me feel quite a strong bond towards Mr. Hackett. If you're watching, we are Brussels sprout brothers, are we not? Yeah. Shear says he lifted big lumps of cheese without bend. Oh, down. Oh, I can't. Where's it gone? I've lost the thing. He lifted a big lump of cheese without bending correctly, thus fell awkwardly and broke his arm. No, that weren't me. I fell up some stairs. I was 6 years old. Not downstairs, upstairs. I fell up the stairs. Christian says, I found McLaren deeply irritating, but that's exactly what he wanted. He was a very clever man. He knew that being irritating was how you get remembered, He wanted to be subversive. He wanted to, upend the establishment. But he was also very establishment at the same time. He's a very interesting character. And like I said, he knew an awful lot about music. What he did with Trevor Horn, like I said, the Double Dutch albums, was just so far ahead of their time. It was ridiculous. But people forget it. It's kind of been forgotten. And I should really do reviews of those. But it's about early sampling and stuff like that. Brendan says, I stopped the queue when they put the Spice Girls on the cover. Crikey. It was Q that run the... crikey. Which ones was it? wasn't it Q that run the Courtney Love spread where she got naked in the back of a cab and was rolling around very happy with not a lot on? I think it was Q that run that one. That was one of my last memories. I think I bought one with Radiohead at the turn of the century. They were on the cover, but it was a long time. Again, the missus used to buy me a copy. She'd be in Smith's and get me a copy, so there's that dynamic as well. So it may have been 2001. I don't know. It was a long time ago. Christian says Rip Q magazine, music magazines ready for extinction. Technology marches on. Good riddance. Good riddance to all of them. Down with music. Payne says, sorry to Van Morrison fans, but I just don't get his appeal, neither do I. He sounds like a kid from South Park. Van the Man. What's that about, eh? What's that? Well, he's soulful and he's like Joe Cocker. What's that about? Unless you're busting a nut, what? But no, I never understood Van Morrison's music. Oh, Tim Jones says, I think Chris Francis' bio is out soon too. It is. I've got it on all. Well, it's coming because I've got the dispatch order, dispatch notice coming. I've got a signed one of that, so like the Hackett one signed. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that because there was a little kind of promo piece in the Guardian website today about it, and he was talking about David Byrne and whatnot, and how his missus got a rough deal with the music biz because of sexism and stuff, and yeah, it should be interesting because Tina Weymouth is an utterly underrated bass player. She's really, really good, and I remember reading on there's a biography, talking his biography I got called I've got to say it, Fa. That is the title of it, seriously, and in that it details how Eno would wipe her bass playing off of tapes and either do it himself or get other bass players in to to basically erase her work, and I thought that was despicable, absolutely despicable. Payne says I can't understand a single thing Van Morrison says. No, that's Louis Armstrong. Sorry. Is that racist against gingers? I'm not sure. When I went full Louis, then I only go full Louis in the shower. Tuma says, speaking of arseholes, charming. I remember when you said the Winton King's face looked like a. That was beautifully. I was being mean. That was when I was like really controversial. No, I mean they're all right. And I would never ever. I shouldn't be mean to those guys. I shouldn't be mean to anyone. Because I can talk to me. Got a face like a welder's bench, like a bulldog looking piss off a nettle, isn't it? But no, I was. I'm cranky. I'm deliberately contentious. Because I think it makes me, cool and hip with the kids. Drama, yeah, drama. Diss track. That's what we wanted. Diss track. Never happened. Diss track. But we all do what we do. We all do what we do. We're all fucked when it comes to the great ship YouTube. I hear old Beto got fingered by the featured artist and got a video claimed by him or taken struck down. Actually, he was very upset about it. But hey, that's what happens when you mess with those guys. I see Beto thinks that he thinks that fair use counts when it comes to YouTube. It don't. That's why I've never used any of the music, even though I'm entitled to, because reviews are exempt from copyright. But you're just asked him to have your arsehole fucked, basically. And I don't really fancy that. Not my age. But yeah, it happens. And I I feel sorry for the guy because he says he works hard, and he does because he's a professional. He's not like me. He's not like some amateur Johnny Come Lately type who just turns on the camera and jibber jabbers. Personality. What I lack in talent, Try and make up for it with personality and charm. Yeah. But yeah, that's what happens. But he has illustrated some of the ridiculousness of the situation. I think he played, didn't he play a riff or a chord sequence, and AC/DC claimed the chord sequence, and it's like, really. So old Beto, he got beaten. You should just call it, he's Beto. He'll always be Beto. Lemo calls him Beto. That means Lemo's cool. I love Lemo. Serious man crush for Lemo. But yeah. Anyway, Payne says Chris France moans about birthday old book. You can bet that's what it'll be. I fucking hope so. That's why I bought it. That's what I want to read. Yeah. Toomey says, what is your most controversial disliked video? Ear syringe. Easy. Payne says, I remember the trick of the tail video being consistently equal likes and dislikes. Always found that funny. Oh god, that was that and the Duke one. Boy, was that a hornet's nest that I kicked. All because of a review, because I didn't like an album they liked. There you go. Payne says, it's hard for a kid in the 70s to relate to stadium rockers and their private airliners. Punk was inevitable. Again, it's a reaction, it's a generational thing. They react against their parents or what they perceive to be authority figures. So, when these bands, turn up with their fur coat and their limos, they go, fuck that. It was a natural progression, and each musical movement rebels against the previous one, and that's how it changes. We don't get that now because it's all one homogenous fucking blob, because the kids haven't got any imagination. It's safer to stick with the crowd rather than strike out and be individual, and their idea of being an individual is just to copy everyone else. Wow, it's amazing. I've turned into Grandpa Simpson. Man shouts at cloud. But yeah, punk. Renee's in. Hi Renee. Fasano says, is the featured artist going to write his bio? Yeah, he probably already has. Who cares? Who cares? Wow, that'll be an eye opener. And on this particular night, I was aggrieved to discover someone had eaten all the cheese. Brendan says, I once saw Steve in his underpants. Well, there you go. Ajax says, bought classic rock as oh, it's gone up the screen. Why does it do that? Oh, I've got the wrong one. I was thinking of someone else. Oops. I'll have to edit this out now. Ajax Johnson says, bought classic rock as I was so intrigued to read 100 greatest songs of the 21st century. Nearly had a stroke. No One Believes in a Thing Called Love is alright, but not the best in the 21st century. Death of a Rock Star, good one that. Yeah, that's teen fiction. It's bad. It's a stinker. Though the sequel was going to be good, and this was done a long time ago before it was going to be. The sequel was going to be about a group of Hollywood vampires, and that was before the whole Hollywood vampire thing struck up. I wrote this. Oh fucking hell, 2005ish I think it was. I can't remember. It's a long time ago. But I had a sequel in mind, and then the whole Hollywood vampire thing happened, and I thought, oh bollocks, I can't really go there now. So, yeah. Oh boy, Brussels sprouts are gag-inducing for me too, says Kitten. Patrick says, thoughts on Commode. He's alright. I don't tend to follow him now because when he stopped his YouTube thing, I kind of lost interest, because I used to like his YouTube videos that he used to do, but then he decided that podcasts were the way ahead, and I'm not really interested in podcasts, so we divert. I often dip in when he does movie reviews or BFI things on YouTube, because he still does the Mayo and Commode thing. They had a TV show on. They had a show on BBC 4 on Fridays, which was quite good. But yeah, he's alright. He's okay. It's alright, I suppose. Duck Rock is a fabulous album. That's the one. There's a lot of pains. There's a lot of pains around. Magpie says, I see an analogy between cool jazz and prog. Musicians that want to show their potential outside of popular tunes, then they died in their own cult introverted set of rules. Oh, that's deep. That's deep, Manky Poot. That's a bit deep for us. We're doing cheese jokes tonight. We're doing cheese. Kitten says, poor Steve. In those days, he was just a hungry, starving musician. Too bad he didn't come across someone less stingy with the cheese. Well, the thing is, right, if you're at a dinner party, right, and the cheese plate goes around, and you've got a craving, for the dairy product. You know, maybe you had a really good red wine, it's like Burgundy or something. Oh, it's just so they're just so Moorish. Maybe he didn't want to go onto the vol au vents. It's fair enough. Sometimes you've got to be in the mood for a vol au vent, haven't you? You know what I'm saying? And it was the 70s. So I reckon there was pineapple. Involved as well. Yeah? Maybe mini spring rolls. There could have been a whole cornucopia of finger foods. But Hackett thought, Bayek, I'm sticking with cheese. And who can blame him? It's a man of taste. That's what I think. Maybe he had a bit of a dodgy tummy. Thought I don't fancy that. Those Indian. Are they? What's that? Is that an onion bhaji sitting next to the spring rolls? Maybe just he felt a little bit delicate. Just stuck with the cheese. Who knows? We'll never know unless Steve writes a follow up all about that night. I think we need to know the truth. We need to know what other hors d'oeuvres were on offer. I think we need to know. Andrew says, what's going on? Anything exciting? No, nothing exciting at all. Well, that sounded a bit off. Nothing exciting at all. I do my own sound effects now. It's great. Payne's. I mixed him up. Payne. I'm confused. There's all these people with fancy names. Why can't they just go by their real name? Because like I ain't got a pseudonym. Oh, you come back? Yeah, you alright? Did you have your treat? Yeah, was it good? Was it nice? Yeah? What was it? Dentist stick? Yeah? Or some markies? Talking to the dog now. Who's a good girl? You good girl? Yeah, you fuss. You have a fuss. Come have a fuss. Come have a fuss. Come on. Bring it in. You can sit on my guitar like Alex used to. You've got into that habit now of laying on my gear. Yeah, fussing the dog. Shear says, before the internet I used to stand in WH Smith's on Thursday and read at least 4 music makes, Record Mirror, Sounds, NME, Melody Maker, and not buy any of them. It was you who brought the magazine industry to its knees. Wix says, I was watching a live show of the Talking Heads on YouTube. I think Tina is a superb bass player in my opinion, quite groovy. She's really good. Completely underrated, I think. And again, it's it's a great shame. The early stuff. Again when they started bringing in, was it Buster Jones? You don't need 2 bass. Oh, you're off now, are you? Okay. See you then. You don't need 2 bass players when you've got one good one. But anyway, that must have been hard. But I don't know. I'm going to read all about it in the book. Warner says, yep, Beto got in trouble. It's not the first time. Again, he does use clips again, but he is entitled to. I'm entitled to, because this is for review. I don't choose to because I know the bad side of it, but someone on Reddit, don't ask, mentioned me because people have been tweeting it. I had to tweet. Someone said, oh, you want to talk to Darren Locke about this? But I noticed my name came up in Reddit about it, and of course the whole sordid business with that lot came up. So I sat and wrote a very quick, detailed explanation of everything and how they use the system in an unethical, unprofessional, bully boy manner. Because I on my other channel I do cover versions, bad cover versions, and Peter Gabriel, In Your Eyes, claimed it, but it's only a partial claim, which means he'll split the micro pennies that I earn with me. I don't know what the split is. I think it's something like 80-20 or 60-40 or 70-30. I'm not sure exactly what the split is, but doesn't claim the video or strike it down. Does a revenue share, and Taylor Swift is the same when I did the Taylor Swift one, which is interesting because there is a right way and a wrong way of dealing with copyright when it comes to musicians, and the smart ones, want all the publicity they can get, and the dopey ones don't. So it's just but yeah, I put them right on the old Reddit. Put them right. Told them what for, because I was accused of publishing the entire Orpheum gig that I'd rejiggered. No, it was 2 tracks on Mixcloud because I did a little podcast doing a compare and contrast, But yeah, so I'm a big because I've been accused of being a pirate of their material, which is not true. Apart from early 2000, when the Fourth and Porter show was available and I got it, I made a recording of it, and some people wanted a copy and they didn't have high-speed internet, so I made a few copies on CDR and sent it to them. Ooh, and I even did little sleeves because I like doing the design, So I guess I'm a pirate, what the hell? What the hell? Andrew says, our schools are opening in August, September? Yes. Well, they're wrong. Payne says, Rick Beato is somehow very experienced, but somehow so naive with YouTube. His content will be hard to keep going on without copyright BS. Well, exactly. You've got to be clever, and really what he needs to do is say, and these are the links to the tracks, like reference tracks, he needs to link to them in the description and not use the material. Again, as he says, it takes him like 15 hours of production time to do a video. If I was spending that time on a video, I would make sure that it ain't going to get claimed by some oik, so I don't know if he's just naive or stupid. I don't know. Again, he's been doing it a long time. It's like, what's his name, the bass player, Leland Sklar. He's been complaining because he's been doing some like bass tutorials or bass lessons, and what does he do? He goes and plays the song in the background, so it automatically gets claimed by the musicians involved, even though he played on the album and whatnot. Really, he needs to, I don't know, make up his own backing track or just play it without the music. I don't know. It's difficult. That is the nature of the beast. You cannot do anything educational. You certainly can't do anything with a review, with content. Again, people who do movie reviews find it hard including clips and whatnot without giving away their entire content to the movie studios. So, it's a completely duff platform when it comes to that kind of thing. So you have to leave well alone, or box clever. Ajax bought BBC Volume 2. Always like Volume 1. What do I think of Volume 2? It's alright, I suppose. It's the period of the Beatles I don't really care much for. I tend to like them from... what's the one? I don't know if it... Rubber Soul? Maybe Rubber Soul onwards, maybe? I don't know. Things. For science, good news came from Oxford on the COVID vaccine. They say if it continues, I reckon it'll be by Christmas. So that's that. Again, I think I don't know. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because you got to be careful, and I don't think some people really understand the severity of it on those with, weakened immune systems and whatnot. And it's nice to have a life and go places and do things and meet people. But we live in isolation anyway. It's only thanks to this that me and the kids and the missus, we realise we already live in isolation. We've just got each other. That's that. But yeah, maybe there'll be a vaccine. Who knows? Maybe it will just peter out. Maybe it will. There are some virologists reckon that it could just weaken, because they reckon there is some evidence of herd immunity to it. That it might just weaken out and disappear, or evolve into something else, something a bit weaker. It could evolve into a weaker virus, could evolve into a stronger virus. This is the thing. But more importantly, bubonic plague is back in town. Ah, Christ. David says Reckless Eric autobiographies must read. I've seen Reckless Eric. I saw him. He opened for... Who did he open for? Was it the Ruttles? Neil Innes and the Ruttles. I think he opened for them, which was good fun. Andrew said, "Hi Darren, I'm in. Did you watch the TV programme about Rockford Studios in Wales?" I watched a bit of it. I forgot it was on, so I caught the last 10 minutes of it. I was watching the Murdoch documentary instead. If someone says, "Darren, you're better than Beat," oh no, he's better than me, because he actually puts effort in, and and I don't put any effort in because it's YouTube, and why would I do that? Because when I've put effort in before, nobody watches the videos. I've loads of ideas, loads of things, But then I decide, I think, well, I take a guess at whether or not it's worth it. I mean, again, let's look at how YouTube have completely throttled my ear syringe video. He says, so I've just got to go to the thing, to the stats, and then, where is it? It's there. Shan't be a mo, dearie. But this shows you what power YouTube have over your videos, right? This shows you just how it's got nothing to do with what you do. It's got all to do with whether you're in favour with the thing. Now my video has had limited monetization because it's a comedy. It's comedy. It's funny. God damn it! And let's see. In the last 90 days, this is what they've done. This is what YouTube have done to it, and you can see it quite explicitly on this graphic. Bear with me. Yoink! Look. Wow, where'd it go? Oh, did I lose it? Ah, son of a gun. Bear with me. I'll find it. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? It's here somewhere. Is that it? Yeah, here we go. Oops. As you can see, this is the last 90 days, and you can see it was doing really well up until there, and then it falls off a cliff, and that is YouTube throttling your videos and saying, no, you are no longer, that video is no longer going to have an audience. And so that's what they do. See, it was doing lovely, consistent views, and then blammo, off you go, son of a gun. You're gone. You're history. And that's what they can do. That's the power. This is not a level playing field. This is not somewhere where you can create great things and expect great things to happen. It's all, and if they don't like you, or you do something that they perceive that's wrong, and you won't know about it, they won't tell you. They won't tell you. I mean, that video, I know why I don't like it, because it is a Halloween prank. Fake blood is used. It's shocking. That's the point of it. I should probably take it down. But I put a lot of effort into that one. Worked hard on that. Not 15 hours hard, but at least 2 hours, on it, and it's only like 4 minutes long. So there you go. But it shows. I'm doing that to show you how YouTube ultimately controls your destiny. You don't. I could produce the most wonderful content, and I could do my best to get people to see it, but the cynic in me says no one's going to see it. You know. There you go. Simon says, how big do you believe the chances are for centrists to make a big impact in the world or the US? Well, we have politics of extremes at the moment, don't we? It's the left versus the right, and they're both the bloody same. Can sensible centrists get back into power? I honestly don't know. I think the outcome of the American election at the end of the year, if there is one, because of the whole COVID thing, will be an indicator. If Kanye West is successful in his presidential bid, oh fuck, then we'll know. We'll know if the centrists have won. Poor old Kanye. He's bipolar, you know, and he's obviously off his meds, and someone really ought to help him out. He's not in a good way. But yeah, I mean, if Trump loses the election in, the end of the year, then maybe a chance of some sensibility prevailing. The funny thing is in England we have a centrist government, even though they're Tories. Their policies they've put out over the COVID-19 period have been all socialist policies. You can't complain. Oh, there will be people that do. There will be people that do. But there you go. Squeaky. Andrew says, band made Japanese hard rock band. Check them out. No, I'm not going to check them out. Sorry. Because whenever anyone says, oh, check this band out, they're usually crap. Oh. Adam says, to Mark right down the pub. Think he lives near me. Where do you live, Adam? What address? What's your address? We'll all pop round. When you going on holiday? We'll all pop round then. Nick your TV. Wixton says, do you prefer red wine or white? Oh, white. I'm a complete puff when it comes to wine, I'm afraid. Am I allowed to say that? Probably not. I'm actually allergic to some red wines. It's true. It's horrible. I come out in a terrible rash. And that's how you can tell if it's a cheap bottle of wine. The missus gets me to taste it, and if I come out in a rash, she says, I won't have that. But no, I'm more of a white wine drinker if I have to. But I like a red with a meal. If I'm eating red wine with steak or anything meaty, though I'm trying to avoid the red meats because of my hand. Had some red meat the other day. Terrible pains in my hand again, so I'm trying to avoid that. Vegetarian, pescatarian with a little bit of chicken. I've got this thing where it's only things that I know I could kill. I could kill a chicken, no problem, because those things are evil. And fish. I've killed fish in the past when I used to be I used to give directions. Anyway, Ajax says, go on, what is your favourite song of the 21st century? Do you even like I Believe in a Thing Called Love? No, I believe Don't Let the Bell End. I like that one instead. My favourite song of the 21st century? I don't know, I don't think I've got one. Oh, it's a hard question. There's been so many songs of the 21st century. Oh, I've drawn a blank. No. That one that Kanye does about having too much power, that's probably the best one. Simon says, what do you believe an artist need to make music as relevant as it used to be? No, totally irrelevant. All art is irrelevant. Everyone knows that. Art is the stuff we don't need to do. It's all the random shit. It's just, don't need to do art. No one needs to do art. No one needs to write a song. Writing a song won't save the world, will it? Making a film won't actually do anything. Writing a book never changes anything. We just pretend it does because it makes us feel intellectual. It makes us feel superior. Oh look! Oh look! We're only 1% DNA away from the chimps who fling their poo at us. Let's make a movie that shows us that we are superior. Yet look at the state of the world. Look at the state of the world. We're so superior and we're so fucking clever that as soon as this pandemic happened, we didn't stop the planes from flying around. We carried on. We let people jet around the world and spread it further. Because we're so fucking clever. So fucking clever. But art is all the stuff you don't need to do. Don't need to do it. Don't need to do any of this. Don't need to play guitar. Don't need to make a movie. Don't need to write a book. You know? Brendan says, cheese follow-up could be called a void of the cracker light. Oh, man. Oh, he went there. TJH says, what prog band artist had the best stage show effects? I don't know. Depends. What era are you talking about? Like, all time? Because it's got to be Genesis, isn't it? And they have the big screens and that. I don't know. Does it matter? Is that why you go? Is that why you go to the gigs? For the flashing lights? Vanessa says, who would you rather listen to? Depeche Mode or Erasure? Will it be Erasure? Because Andy Bell, man, he's the vocalist, isn't he? He's the top dog. Ooh, sometimes. That one, that's a good one, that one. I like that one. I liked it, yeah, Erasure were good, but Depeche Mode, just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. I've had enough. Oh, I've had enough. Raphael says, I missed the feature snorer. Well, she's left the room. She's gone. I've got the fan on though, so there is fan noise. She has left the room. And I've got my big bobbly thing here. See that? Look at that. Look at the size of that. Hey? Look at the size of my ISO ball. Which is supposed to focus my voice onto the microphone and drown out extraneous noise. I don't think it actually works, but psychologically it makes me feel like I'm a professional. I don't know. But I think it does mute the noise of the fan. The fan is a little bit not as prominent. But it's negligible. Manky Pook says, the 70s for me is finger food, is pickle rolled and a slice of luncheon meat. Oh, Jesus, man. Wixton said, didn't that Talking Heads from a side project with another member of Talking Heads and Mariah Carey sampled a song? Oh, you mean Tom Tom Club with Adrian Blue's riff, which then was sampled by Mariah Carey, and Adrian Blue never got a writer's credit, and he fought very hard to get a writer's credit, and so then when Mariah Carey did, oh, God, oh, what's it called? Fantasy? I think it's called Fantasy. I'm going to have to look that up now. Then old Adrian Blue got a lovely payout, I think, because it was settled in the courts, because Tom Tom Club kind of stiffed him, because he was like the co-writer on the Tom Club album. And, yeah, let me have a look. Yeah, it was Fantasy, which songwriters include Dave Hall, Adrian Belew, Chris France, Steve Stanley and Tina Weymouth. So obviously they used quite a few samples then. It was Puff Daddy did the remix, but Dave Hall was the producer, so he gets a writing credit. But yeah, I think Belew and Co would have got a nice payout from that. You know, again, because it did sample quite a significant portion of Genius of Love. I remember it at the time when it came out. I was like, it was one of those double take things. I heard it on, I was at MTV or something, and I was like, whoa! I went full Scooby-Doo. I went full Scooby on it, because it's really odd when you hear a riff or a sample of a song that you know very, very well appearing elsewhere. But there you go. Payne says, yeah, Buster Jones and the touring band was unnecessary. Absolutely. I did do a review of the Tom Tom Club album. Did I do it for Music Go Round? Oh God, it's lost. It's lost forever. Isn't that a shame? Payne says, the only I've read it is I've never read it. Oh, don't go there. It's like, it's a fucking hole, I tell you. Cyrus is off. He's going to do some work. Oh yeah, he's going to work it, baby. Andrew says, would you ever cover not just one song but an entire album? For example, the entire Taylor Swift album. Cover an entire album. I've never considered it. Blimey, that would be... Again, I'd have to really like the album a lot. It'd probably be something like So by Peter Gabriel. If there was like an album to do. But yeah, I mean, there isn't an album I love. Well, I mean, there's like Night Song, but I would never dare try and even go near it because it's got Nusrat's Fatih Ali Khan's voice on it, and I can never ever do that justice. But yeah, I mean, I'd have to really find an album that I loved enough, you know. Because yeah, you might like an album, but doesn't mean I necessarily want to do all the songs, if you know what I mean. Daniel says, YouTube is for video creators. If it was for the music industry, it would be solely for them and no vloggers whatsoever. Music business needs to stop unnecessary claims, or they need to be sensible about it. They need to, i.e., claim the portion. So, say you do a video and you include a sample, like a clip of a track. Say I'm talking about, I don't know, Laurie Anderson, and I use a little bit of Oh Superman. I go, and this is a very good example of the early use of sampling, you know, electronic music, blah 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 blah, videography, blah. Do a little thing, and then do a little clip of her Oh Superman video. Carry on with the thing. Should she own the entire video? No, she should just have the portion that her track is on. So say I've done 10 minutes. And her clip is 20 seconds of that. In percentage terms, I don't know what the percentage terms of that would be. It's a percent, 2%, I don't know, 1%. And that's the claim. That's how much of a claim she should have on the video. Or, you know, she's not going to do that though. But she might do. I don't know. But my point being is they should only have a claim on a percentage of the video's earnings, not 100%. That's where it's unfair. Imagine if you are a creator like Beto or myself and we wanted to include that. What if, and I've suggested this before in the past, there is a music license that we pay for every month. Maybe it's £10, maybe it's £5, maybe it's done over a year, I don't know. But if you're going to include music, we should be able to buy a license, and that should give us carte blanche to drop music into what we're doing. You know, and that way someone gets some money and we get left alone. Huh? That's an alternative. If they're so hungry for money, and they are, because it's all about the money, they should go that way. But they're not going to do that way because they can bully people and they can claim thousands and thousands of videos and earn the micro pennies from videos that get millions of views but also get a few views. So that's where we're at. It's a totally unethical and unnecessary business. But the music business has always been like that. Vanessa says, what time limit of the song you can play on YouTube before it gets a copyright strike? Like 2 seconds. Yeah, it literally can be a few seconds. As soon as the algorithm recognises it. So if it's got a recognisable riff, you know, or maybe a vocal sample, that's it. Then it gets you. But then they claim the whole video. Yeah. Daniel says, Tom Tom Club, yeah, that's right. Well, Fasano says, Python's cheese shop sketches are brilliant. I'm still trying to find Venezuelan beef for cheese. Oh yeah, Pinks is in. I hope things are fine. Yeah, ticking along. Kids are off on school holidays, though Verity's been on school holidays since March. Herb did a fortnight back at school and enjoyed it. And I mean, again, the way they're doing it over here is they're going to be staggered times. Verity's starting a lot later now at school and will be ending later. So there won't be lots of people intermingling, and that's going to be interesting because it means she's going to be leaving later in the morning rather than at the same time of us. And so I don't know how that's going to work out because I've still got to take Herb in the other direction. Payne says, I'd say that Beto's audience knows all the songs he has audio from anyway, so it's useless. True. Again, you know, he's only doing it for those that aren't familiar. And again, you could put links in the description, you know, like a discography, you know, of tunes to check out. There are other ways of going about it, especially when you know they're going to jump on you at the first opportunity. It's not difficult to avoid. Again, you know, if we had the license, like I was talking about, my videos would be very different, because I could use examples. I can say, and this sounds like that, and now this is, you won't believe what they put here. You know, it'd make the videos a lot more fun, a lot more illustrative. But instead, I have to use my wonderful sparkling wit, good looks, and charm to get through the videos. It's a burden. It's a burden, but it would make my life easier, and it would change what the videos are about. But I don't know, I kind of like the way I do it anyway, so it doesn't bother me. But I do think it's unfair for other people if they do want to, you know, look at things. But then I get annoyed by those bozos who, you know, English guitarist analyses American solo crap, you know, and the guy just sits and goes whilst the music is playing, and he's only doing it. He's only doing it for view. He is literally, you know, doing it for the views, because he ain't making any money out of it. Not that that's the thing, but he's just sitting there going, and he's getting his traffic on somebody else's talent, because he hasn't got any talent of his own. So he's just sitting there going, and you go, really? And there's a lot of reaction videos like that where they go, no, never heard Bohemian Rhapsody before, and you go, yeah, like bollocks. And they play the whole song and react to it, you know. It's like, balls. I've lost the questions. Oh Christ, where's it gone? Here we go. Wixon said, Talking Heads reform without Dave Byrne Night is just, yeah, all talk, no head. Or was it no talk? I had that album. It was all right. It wasn't the Talking Heads. You know, it's a shame they didn't just continue. They should have continued. You know, should have continued. And yeah, Payne says, sorry chaps, I've been awake since 5:30, so I'm too tired to stay up. Good night, Mr. Payne. Sweet dreams. Daniel says, I like the Beatles' output after they stopped touring better. Lenin says, hey Darren. Hi Lenin, hope you're good. So I'm late. It's his mum's birthday. Happy birthday, mum. Andrew says, vaccine by Christmas. That's very, very soon. It varies on who you ask. Some say 2021. The Oxford experts say Christmas. And the trials, they've already done the trials. The initial trials are positive. So go out there, search for Oxford vaccine trials, and you'll see where they're at. Musical Box says, hi Darren, have you read the Steve Hackett biography? Yes. If so, do you think it's quite short considering how long Steve's career has been? No. It's the right. He doesn't hang around. He doesn't labour it, and I like it because it's fast. You're gonna, again, it all depends what do you want from it. You're never gonna be happy. No, you know, it's not. You know, he's just, again, you've got to remember these people. You say, oh, it's not fair. It's not fair. Oh, they didn't talk about when they recorded Nursery Crime. He does. But you've got to remember, this is like 100 years ago in dog terms. In dog years. It's 100 years. And they're not going to remember. You know, I'm sure Steve was smoking some special cigarettes and he might not remember all the details. And you've got to remember that. A lot of these rock stars don't remember a lot of the, you know, what happened. Not because of that, because it was so long ago. If you record a song, unless you're writing copious notes about it, and there are very few people that do that, you're not necessarily going to remember the exact detail. You're going to remember, yeah, this happened, or oh yeah, the mic stand. I remember the mic stand fell over and hit the tambourine, and that rolled along and it knocked over a block of cheese. And that's where my obsession with cheese came from, you see. And he'd remember that because something very specific happened. You know, you've got to read it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was I thought it was good. But you see, it's the sense of the man. That's what you read that for. It's the sense of the person. And that book gives you a great sense of the person. And he's very likeable, got a great sense of humour, and, you know, he comes across well in it. Though there are some things he's forgotten, like the time he tried to dodge the tax, and that's how, you know, the whole thing with his missus, you know, when the one that he divorced happened, because, you know, they had him by the short and curlies. That's what happens when you try and dodge the tax, man, Steve. Don't dodge the tax, man. All right. You know, there are things like that are avoided, but you can understand why, because a tax man might be reading. But it's not like the Steve Howe biography. As I often say, you know, if Steve Howe had a trumpet, he'd probably blow it. His own trumpet, that is. Lenin says, I joined a Gong fan club on Facebook, and they're loving and nice people despite their stone most of the time. Well, that's really, really fascinating. I bet they're really interesting people. Ajax says, yep, overall I like the Beatles Revolver onwards. Was surprised how much I like Anthology 1. Again, I like the early stuff in, you know, bits and dribs and drabs. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right, isn't it? Vanessa says, what if the virus evolved into COVID-20? Could be more deadly. Could we be weaker? Who knows? But, you know, this was always going to happen, thanks to, you know, unfettered international travel. Always going to happen, because people didn't take this seriously. It was my biggest fear. I mean, I told the missus about this years ago. It was like, oh, you do know it'll be a virus that'll wipe out the earth. It'll wipe out all living things. You know, I always thought it'd be like an Ebola kind of style, you know, a style virus that will take us all down. Something like that, or the Black Plague. You know, a revival of that. But, you know, in terms of deadliness, this isn't that deadly. You know, in statistical terms, it's along the same lines as flu. But I don't want to roll the dice. All right. But if you look at the stats, statistically speaking, it's along the same lines as a really bad flu outbreak. But it's more virulent, and some of the side effects are a little bit weird that we don't quite know about, because it's not flu. This is something else. And that's the real question mark over it, you know. Once they figure out, you know, the damage it does, you can think about it differently. Wixland says, if you recite lyrics from a popular song today, no matter just lyrics and recited like poetry, would you still get a copyright strike? Not at the moment. Not at the moment. You might get a manual claim if you put it in the title and say I'm, you know, oh, I wanna be Sledgehammer, but done in poetry style. You might not necessarily get a strike immediately, but you might get a manual strike later on. But again, if it's Peter Gabriel, if they recognise it as being a performance, it might be a shared revenue kind of strike, you know. The thing is, right, is you can have adverts turned off. This is what you don't realise. This is what you don't realise. Hold on to your hats, folks, because I'm going to blow them off. I've got some serious dynamite under them. Hold on to your hats. What you don't realise is you could have a channel, right, and you don't have monetisation, or you may have a monetised account and can make money, but you may do a cover version or whatever, and you may have the monetisation should have put the other teeth in. You may have monetisation turned off, but the record company can turn it on, put adverts on your thing, and take the money, even if you've got them switched off, because they've claimed it. We want to make money out of you. Did you realise that? Oh yeah, that is also a thing. So even if you don't have any adverts on the cover version or the song you've done or whatnot, the record company's coming along and just go, yoink, we're having that. How'd you like them potatoes, eh? That brings a whole new aspect to it. Daniel says, you should show the Issaringe video on the stream if you're earning from your stream re-uploads, you can take advantage of the system. No, because then I'm going to get in trouble on this channel as well. And I don't know what YouTube are up to. I don't know if they put like a magic marker on you, you know, a red dot to say he's a bit of a bastard. Keep an eye on him. So no, I don't really want to do that. I might post it on Halloween, because that's when I made it. It was meant to be an Halloween prank, and I scared a lot of people with it. So I might put it on the channel on Halloween, but maybe I won't. Pink says it sucks how they nullified that video. It does. Kitten says 3p projected on the video. You could retire soon. Well, this is why I say join. Give me a quid, because you don't know how much effort it is for me to make any money out of this platform. You know, I don't do it for the money. You know that. I don't sit here. I don't make any money doing this. I do this because we're all chums. I like to think, in my head, I think we're chums. You know, it's the old faithful. I like doing this. I like talking and having a bit of fun on a Tuesday. It's become a thing, and I know for some people out there, it's something that they look forward to, and it's got them through some tough times. And when people tell me that, it's incredibly humbling. It makes it worthwhile. But I don't do this for money. You know, the little bit of money I do get via this and Patreon and whatnot, it goes into the big black hole. You know, I'm not an easy street yet. You know, still paying off the lens for the new camera. Still got 100 quid of that to pay off. You know, but we'll get there. We'll get there. You know, one day at a time. We'll get there. But no, I mean, you see just how little money there is in it. That's why, you know, when they say, oh, we can't put adverts on this, it's like, oh, come on, really? But that's not what they've done. Not only have they limited the advertising, they've actually funneled the views to that video, because that, when you search for ear syringe videos, that used to be high up, obviously, because I was getting, it's had like 11,000 views, which isn't bad for me. And then all of a sudden, it's like a tap being turned off. And they can do that to your channel. You can suddenly just lose all your views overnight, and you won't know why. And for a year, you could just be bumping along the bottom, and people say, they're irrelevant. They're irrelevant because you're not turning up on the search listings. You're not turning up anywhere. You're, what I call it, shadow banned, which is a thing that they do, and they don't tell you. There's no warning. All you see is your stats go down like that. You know, it's a strange platform. It really is, but I don't do it for that. I do it for the whoever watches the videos, you know. Like I said, that was a good album. Nobody watched the bloody review. This is what gets me. This album is really good, and I think you should all check it out. But, you know, unless it's Pink Floyd, what can I do? You know. But yeah, I'm going to spend my 3p wisely. Andrew says it's impossible to succeed as a YouTuber today. If someone said they wanted to be a big YouTuber for a career, I would say you might need plan B. Well, it depends who you are. If you're, I know, young and attractive, if you're female, you wear the right kind of crop top, I think that helps. Again, I think, you know, I think if you're young and you're tapping into a certain genre, a certain clique of videos, I think you might be okay. But old farts like me, you know, unless I'm Rick Beato and I've got my recording studio, you know. Again, I think it helps if you're American. I really do. I think Americans have a much easier time of getting traction than those of us in the UK. You know, being a British YouTuber, I do think it's really hard. I think there's a geographical aspect to it as well. You know, because I do see an awful lot of like Americans turn up in my feed than British. I'm sure there are other like British guitar people out there, and I don't see them. They don't come to me. They, you know, I don't know. Maybe it favours geography. Who knows? I can't even think about it because it drives you bloody crazy. It really does. So I tend to just carry on. Pink says the world has gone to extremes. There can't be any middle ground anymore. It can be. Yep. Plate of cheese for everyone. Vanessa says you mentioned the cheese earlier. Speaking of that, Americans are about to lose extra unemployment soon. No more handouts. Time to get back to work and spread the COVID even more. Well, what can we say about America? They handled it completely. Again, this is what happens when you have Donald Trump in charge, because Donald Trump doesn't want to commit to anything. Not really. He wants to be like sand. He wants to run through the fingers. He doesn't want to be held accountable for anything. He wants to just, I'm going to leave it to the decisions to the individual states and whatnot. And then, it's bad enough over here and people not taking it seriously. And then you've got the whole, well, I'm a free person, I can do what I'm not going to wear a mask. That's fine. It's like not wearing a crash helmet. If you don't wear a crash helmet and your head gets run over by a bus, probably no chance of you surviving. If you're wearing a crash helmet and your head gets run over by a bus, there's probably very little chance of you surviving. But there's also like that 1% chance that it just bounces off the helmet because of the right angle and you live. Wear the helmet just for the 1% chance, just in case. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. We need to be, like I say, culturally more in line with Japan and the Far East, where it's not about your freedoms, it's about you being respectful to other people. And I think in America, people have no respect for anyone, not even themselves. And so that's why you have a gun trouble. But there you go. Too much cheese, that's right. Daniel says, I'm a centrist, particularly since both left and rights are equally good with the same arguments or different poles. Well, I used to, I'm a lefty, me, I'm a right lefty, but no, I'm not a lefty anymore because there are some aspects of it, like cancel culture and stuff like that. Well, there's no such thing as cancel culture. There is for little people. Little people lose their jobs. Little people, have to step down. Whereas big people, like J.K. Rowling and millionaires, they can just carry on because it doesn't affect them. There is no cancel culture for them. Because if you have money and power, you're home and dry. But if you're, there's been cases of, I remember that woman, she made a tweet on a flight. Oh God, I've got to get it right. I've probably forgotten it. Probably remembered it wrong. But she made some tweet about, I've got to go to Africa on a business trip. I hope I don't get AIDS, right? As a joke to a friend. And that got shared. And by the time she got off the plane at the other end of her journey, she'd been fired. And that is someone, texting someone privately. I think that was it. And that person has then shared it. And, rather than going, oh God, you've been stupid, you're going to get reprimanded, it's instant dismissal. And again, companies have a right to do that because every company usually has a clause in the contract saying you mustn't bring the company into disrepute. I know every company I've worked for has had that clause, which means I've always been careful. Always been careful, never to get caught. All the nefarious things I've done in my life. But yeah, so I think we're too easy to condemn. I was reading an article today. It was a guy, a photographer, famous photographer. I don't know him, but he was judging some photography competition, and because he'd written a foreword to a French photography book, and in this book, the photographer and this book was from 1969, but in the 2007 reprint, this guy had written a foreword, and in the book, the original photographer juxtaposed the image of a black lady against the image of a gorilla in the zoo, because again it was taken at the same time. Again, I think it's a comment about racist imagery. That's the argument. But the guy wrote the foreword to a book that was published in 1969, but he wrote a foreword for the 2007 imprint, which he said, I wasn't even aware, I just wrote it because I was a fan of the photographer, has had to step down from judging a photography competition. And you go, what? How's that a thing? What? Surely you should be going after the actual photographer who made the artistic statement in the first place. But hey, that's woke culture. Thanks for playing. That's cancel culture. You're cancelled. Yeah, anyway. Wexon says, what about vegan? Would you go vegan for a week? Nah, because I like milk too much. I like milk on me cereal. I like milk in me tea. It's only milk really. I'm easy. I don't have too much. I'm not like Hackett. If you invite me to your dinner party, if the featured artist, right, said, Darren, come over, let's bury the hatchet, and he left the cheese board out, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably go for the vol au vents, right? Because again, because of the various swellings I get in my fingers. Look how bent that one is. Look at that. Look at that. Look. This is why I'm so popular with the missus, because it goes around. Look, it goes around corners. But you know, because my joints swell up, and you can still see there's a little bit of inflammation there. Probably doesn't come out on the camera. I've been avoiding cheese and red meat and stuff because I had a flare up last Monday, and it lasted near enough 3 or 4 days, and it was really painful. And I had a flare up yesterday, and it was like, I'm trying to play guitar, and the pain. To quote Neil Innes, I've suffered for my music. Now it's your turn, and. Yeah, so the vegan thing's interesting. I mean, I'm virtually vegetarian, in the fact that I only eat chicken, fish, eggs. So I'm kind of a vegan. And she says, respect for Morricone. Well, we did that the other week. That was a long time ago. No, we're not doing a band made video, no. Vanessa says, how would you grade Boris Johnson's handle of COVID? Sadly for the USA, Donald Trump completely screwed it up. I'll give him an F. Boris Johnson's handling of it. Well, again, Boris Johnson is a great libertarian. He doesn't like to tell people what to do. When this all began, he said, hi guys, I think you should do this. And everyone ignored him. And then that's why we were like a week, possibly a fortnight behind the curve. We should have locked down immediately, but he trusted us, and we were all fucking stupid. You can't trust the public. The one thing I do take umbrage with is that everyone, all of us as a world should have shut the airports and stopped the international travel immediately. Bam, closed borders. Everyone should do that. And we talked about this before, about there being like a pandemic control council. When we need to implement that, like a worldwide pandemic authority that can say close borders, chunk, and that would have really stopped the spread of it, really stopped it quicker. Again, I don't really have a problem with Boris Johnson or Rishi Sunak, what they're furloughing and the money that they're throwing around. We're gonna pay for it. The kids will be paying for this when their kids are old. We're going to be paying for this for a long time. But I can't see any other political party over here doing this differently, because the experts, the civil servants who are apolitical, would have been the same. And so if Corbyn would have been in, he'd have still had Chris Whitty and co telling him what to do. So whether or not he would have reacted differently, who knows, but the advice would have been the same. That wouldn't have changed. So I think it is what it is. We'll wait until there's the big, taxpayer expense study into where it all went wrong, because we'll be paying for that as well. I think, there's good ways of handling it and bad ways, and we should have just closed all the airports and everywhere else and shut everyone's borders immediately, and we're all responsible for that. Daniel says, I didn't mind free movement, but the pandemic has turned my opinion the other way around. I've always had an issue with it, because it's allowed people trafficking, people smuggling, prostitution. Over here it's run by the Albanians, and also the drugs industry. In the old days, in the 90s, it was, oh no, be careful, the Yardies are controlling the drugs. Not the Yardies anymore, it's the Albanians, and they make the Yardies look like the teddy bear's picnic. And of course Chinese triad gangs with their cannabis farms. We've had 2 of them busted around here in as many weeks, and that's all about people slavery and people coming across borders. All that stuff needs to be looked at. There's a reason why we have borders, and it's to basically stop criminals escaping. And we don't. Oh, I'm a world citizen, man. But yeah, you're a citizen of nowhere. Pink says, Genesis with very light. Stat Rutherford likes to talk about so much. Watch Rain or Shine documentary, where the guys can't get the graphics experts can't get anything to work. That's a beautiful documentary. That is very Spinal Tap, and it's funny because, you know, when they was doing the crikey, was it the Way We Walk tour, they had an amazing light show, and the technology was worse. And Mike Rutherford is standing there going, the technology's improved, but how comes they can't sync the images to the music? It's because these two guys, you can tell, they don't know what they're doing. Yeah, but Genesis, yes. Erasure, yeah, Erasure love ABBA, so that's another good thing. Lenin says, I found a cassette on the ground back in 1995 which Eraser's album, I say, yeah, good album. Yeah, well, there you go. Wixland says, wasn't the other half of Erasure in Depeche Mode too? Yeah, Vince Clarke, he was in there, he was in Yazoo. He's been in loads of, he's written loads of hits. Vince Clarke is the brains. You know, he's a really clever guy. You know, he has a good ear for melody and that, and yeah. Vince Clarke, he's the guy to watch. Flex says Manson are releasing a giant box set. I like Manson. I like the first two albums. They are a little bit repetitive, and Paul Draper's voice is a little bit whiny. But, you know, at the time it was interesting. I enjoyed it at the time. In retrospect, it's like, you know, I don't dislike them. I liked, was it Tax Loss and Wide Open Space, and was it Being a Girl? They had some good hits. I'm not sure they warrant a 24 CD box set though, but it's 160 quid if anyone's interested. No, Vince Clarke from Yazoo, yeah, it's the same guy. He was in Depeche Mode, Yazoo, and then Erasure. Makey Pete says, now you've got me looking at a Mariah Carey clip. You're a bad influence. Ah, that's me. Welcome to the dark side. Vanessa says Vince Clarke was in all three. Oh yeah, and we've done all that. We've done all that with Alison Moyet. Oh, she's great. I love Alison Moyet. Wouldn't it? See what Vince Clarke needs to do. He needs to bury the hatchet and get Alison Moyet and Andy Bell to sing together. Now that would be a super group, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be a super group? And all talking about Vince Clarke. And I've lost the questions again. Andrew says, knock knock, I'll see, I've gone to bed, I'll see you in the next one. Okay, sweet dreams dear prince. Pink says, no talking, just head. Yeah, never bothered with it. Byrne wasn't happy either. It's alright, it was good fun at the time. Again, it's one of those things that let me pull it up. I think I might have it. Haven't I got that one? Let me have a look. The heads. Got to be careful where you type that in. Your library. Here we go. No talking, just head. And it features Michael Hutchins, died of a strangle-wank. Debbie Harry went out with Harry Dean Stanton. Can you believe that? I want that man. Richard Hell, Maria McKee. Show me heaven. Don't know where that came from. Sean Ryder. You're twisting me melon, man. Malin Adneteg. I don't know who that is. Ed Kowalczyk. No, don't know him either. Gordon Gano. The Heads on their own. Andy Partridge. Don't talk about him anymore. And Gavin Friday. There you go. So it's a right old mix, isn't it? It's a right old mix up. Those were the days. Nobody likes Gong. Vanessa says, so Dave Byrne still hates his former bandmates, or is it the other way around? I think they'd like to, you know, go back to it and celebrate it. But David Byrne is he's a bit of a tough nut. Yeah. There's, you know, he's not. I think mercenary is probably the best way of describing him. Though I think Chris France says he's turned into Mr. Rogers these days because you can attract more bees with honey than with vinegar. Am I right or am I right? Look at me. That's my strategy, isn't it? I'm so sweet. Tim Jones says, so Darren, excuse my ignorance on this, but how come people can upload entire albums onto YouTube and not have them taken down? That's because Genesis and Pink Floyd don't care. And they will claim them and make money off of those videos. Alright? There's a difference between a copyright claim. Copyright claim is when the video's up there, it's got music in it, and they go, I'm having that. and then they make money off of adverts off that video. A copyright strike is different. They take the video down, you get a copyright strike, and if you get 3, good night Vienna, your channel's gone and you can lose access to YouTube in general. I had 33 from that lot. 33 in one day, Friday afternoon, I think it was. Yeah, was it late Friday? And I had 33. It was like, great. Balls. And of course, it's over a weekend, so I can't contact anyone. It's put the fire under my arse to make me sweat. So Saturday afternoon, I go for a walk with the dog and I think, fuck, I'm too old for this shit. Let's start again. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. It's not real. And I was right, because I had nearly 20,000 subs, 10 million views, nuked it. I've got the same amount of traffic. If I had the traffic from this channel and the other channel together, it's exactly the same amount of traffic as I always had. So what does that tell you? Subs are meaningless. Subs are meaningless. But they give you awards for those. Don't give you awards for actual views and that. So, you know, it's good. It's a good thing. I feel better for it. It used to bug me that I had like nearly 20,000 subs and no one was watching. Same people were watching the videos. You guys, the old faithful, are watching the videos. You know, and then you wonder, what is this thing? What is YouTube? What is the sub button for? Is it even real? Are these subs real? Are they fake? Do YouTube have fake subs that make you look like you're growing? You know what I'm saying? It's just, I do not understand it as a site. I don't get it. I used to know how it worked when it first began, but now, dark arts, you know, dark arts. Wixon says, I have a strong feeling by 2021 we will be back to normal pre-COVID life. However, the economic impact will still be felt for most of 2021. Yeah, it will be. Yeah, the economy. What can I say? We're in a lucky position that the business that the missus works for, she's working from home, so this is her future now, and the company's pretty happy with it. So I've got company. I'm happy. They're doing okay, and they're selling advertising for the magazines they produce, and you know they do business magazines, i.e. client publishing. So you know, these businesses want magazines, and people are selling adverts on them, and it's actually the ad revenue's gone up. It's opposite. I always said to the missus that if there was a nuclear holocaust, it'd only be the rats, the cockroaches, and that business that she works for that will survive, because the guy that runs it is a bit of a wheeler dealer, ducking and diving, Roger Dodger, you know what I'm saying? Hey, and that's good. That means the business will always succeed. So that's a good thing. As for everyone else, who knows? I think new economies will emerge. I think again it was needed. It was a kickstart we needed. It was a reset we need, because we don't need to be in our cars. We don't need to travel in to our capitals to work. We can work from home. We can have a healthier, more interesting life by doing, I don't know, a 3-day week where, you know, you're going for a couple of days a week. You don't need to, you know, be bums on seats all the time. This is the 21st century. The majority of office work can be done from home, and it's been proven. Yeah, there are other companies where you need people in. There are other businesses where you need, you know, people to actually physically be there. But if you think about it, all these office blocks don't need them. They could be opened up. It would solve the homeless problem. Rents would come down because nobody wants to live in the capital anymore. They can live far out, have a better quality of life. If I ran the world, you know it would be a good place. You know I'd look after you. We'd have universal income. You know what I'm saying? We talked about it the other week. But I don't run the world. I just sit here gasping at the ridiculousness of it and the insanity that is around me. And I mean, there's a lot. I'd love to talk about it, but I can't. There is a lot of insanity where I'm living at the moment, and I watch it and I go, that's crazy. Makes me feel a little bit more sane. There you go. But who knows what happens. But next year, if it is back to normal, boy, the sport's going to be great. We're going to have the World Cup. We're going to have the Olympics. We're going to have Wimbledon. There's going to be sport coming out of every orifice. Maybe even the Euros. Everything is just going to happen at once. It's just going to be a wild ejaculation of sport. And I don't even like sport, but I'm kind of missing it being on the telly, you know? Yay, sport. Daniel says featured artist. Cheese scenario is the new George Harrison's digestive biscuits. Indeed. Payne said Byrne might still hate them, but he doesn't go on about it. France and Weymouth won't go on about it, and Harrison and Byrne are on good terms, it seems. Well, again, you've got to remember that France and Weymouth were the heart of the band. They formed it was their band, and Byrne joined them. You know, it wasn't his band; it was their band, and he joined them. And then Jerry Harrison, followed from the Modern Lovers. And you can understand why they have a skin in the game, and they feel a little bit aggrieved because, they started it. Bjorn says, hi, do you still own the Queen vinyl box set? Might do. Why? Payne says, my week isn't complete without the stream. Now it's a reminder that another week has gone by. Oh, sorry, I'm going to have to do two. I have to do two now. Confuse you. Catch you out. You don't know whether you're coming or going. Is it the beginning of the week? Is it the end of the week? Payne won't know. Is it a Tuesday? Is it a Thursday? Oh. That could be fun, that. Fasano wants some Stilton and Bordeaux. Daniel says, have you thought about doing live unboxes and reviews again? I definitely know you did one for Division Bell vinyl. No. Again, unboxings are boring. They get the most views, and I just don't give a fuck about them. I just don't care. I don't care for it. I know people just come here to look at product and not interested in me or what I've got to say. They just want to see me look at a product. So I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to avoid it. I get loads of stuff in. I've got looking at my heaving pile of coloured vinyl, and I don't do it anymore because it's boring. It bores me. And yeah, I could get loads of views out of it. I could get some more subs, but what's the point? That's not why I'm doing this. Of course, if a big box set comes out and I can take the piss out of it, then I'll do it. But it's hardly worth me holding up like the Who's Greatest Hits vinyl in red vinyl, which I got the other week, and doing an unboxing. Who cares? Nobody cares. It's boring. It bores me. I'm bored. Alright, it bores me so. Andrew says, YouTube has a thing too where they turn off your comment section without warning you. YouTube just disables it automatically. Indeed, if they feel that your people who are leaving comments are paedophiles. Am I allowed to say that? I've probably been demonetised now. But again, if you make child content or content for children, no comment section for you, because the pedos hang out there. Manky Pit says, and album reviews of an album are not informative if there's no demo music with it. You just think, what is this guy talking about? Yeah, but you've got to trust me. Hopefully, over all these years, I've been doing this a long time. It'll be 10 years next year. Hopefully, I've built up enough trust. So when I say, hey, give this one a go, just listen to a little bit of it on Spotify. You go, yeah, I'll do that. Because the whole point is to build up the trust, and we can do that. But I don't know. Daniel says, to me, a YouTube career is just a pipe dream that some get lucky with. Indeed. I never wanted this to be a career. I just wanted to make enough money to pay the mortgage. That was my, it went like this. Enough money to pay off my internet access, my BT bill. And then we did that. So I get like 30 quid, because that's how much my internet is at the moment. But that's going to go up. It'll probably go up in September. And then we go through the ridiculous dance of me contacting British Telecom. Hi, British Telecom, my contract's up. You're gonna put it up to, I don't know, was it 58 quid? You're going to nearly double it, because that's what you do. And then I'm going to get in touch with you, and I'm going to say, can you offer me a discount? Or I'm leaving to those nice people with the northern fella who does the adverts, because you can trust him because he's got a northern accent. I'm going to go with them, and then they give me a discount. And I've done that for the past 4 years or 3 years or whatever it is. Ridiculous, because I've been with them for 20 odd years. They should just do that for everyone. They're just fucking contrick. All I ever wanted to do was be able to pay the mortgage off. That's it. That's my dream. Was it 127 grand? We're still owing on the mortgage. So, There you go. If we could get that paid off, that's my dream, folks. That's my dream. That'd be nice. Because we could never really afford to live here. Or get the 15 grand of debt that I'm trying to work on, which is going to take me about 70 years to get down. Sell your guitars. Do you know just how much that will raise? Not 15. I do not own 15 grand's worth of guitars. I wish I did. Sell your record collection. I don't own 15 grand's worth of records. I'll be lucky if I'll be able to knock maybe 3 grand or 4 grand off if I did that. And I don't know if it's worth it, do you? Anyway, I can terrorise you with terrible music. 38 minutes in the can, folks. 38 minutes in the can. Vanessa says, I agree with you that you have to have a certain niche to be big on YouTube. Gaming's a big thing, and blogs. And if you try and do those things, competition from other YouTubers are astronomical. And also, what happens is you get filtered again. I know that Pink Floyd, if I do Pink Floyd, I get loads of traffic because somebody said, you're the Pink Floyd guy. Because they saw my video on the other channel and I wasn't talking about Pink. You do Pink Floyd. And so I really just need to make Pink Floyd videos every day. The top 12 Pink Floyd songs where Roger Waters screams. That's what I need to do. In front of a green screen. Oh, fuck. Anyway, yeah, competition. Oh, Elliot Rodger, yeah, we know him. He was an incel who couldn't get a girlfriend, and so he decided to shoot everyone because he was so ugly on the inside. Look guys, look. Here's a little tip. If you can't get a girlfriend, it's your problem. If you're desperate for sex, save up your money and pay for it. It certainly help. You know, it will certainly help. Don't go around shooting people who don't deserve it, okay? Because all that happens is you'll get forgotten. And that guy, forgotten. He's known as the virgin incel. Because that's all he was. Because he couldn't get a girlfriend. How fucking pathetic. Ajax says, stumbled upon 2 rocking grannies. Oh, wow. Yeah, but YouTube like that kind of shit. You've got to have a gimmick. This is my gimmick. It's not working. Middle finger hand, yeah. There's also a woman who bursts into tears at Gilmore solos. Yeah. Payne says, if the featured artist wanted to bury the headshot but required you to star in a Sunday lockdown video in exchange, would you? No, never. Not unless I can fondle Toya. Well, I would. You would. Come on. Come on. Mind you, it is the featured artist Sloppy Seconds, so. But it is Toya. Derek Charman's The Tempest. Go watch that. Toya's Jubblies on show. Oh yeah. But I watched it because it was The Tempest, and The Tempest is my favourite of the Shakespeare plays. Okay. Okay. It was nothing to do with Toya's Jubblies. Nothing to do with the Jubblies at all. It's because it's Derek Jarman. Love Derek Jarman. God, why'd you have to die? And The Tempest. Nothing to do with the Jubblies. Trust me on that. Anyway. But it also starred, what's his name? The father of Charlie Gilmore. Talking about Dave Gilmore. Toya's Jubblies. The father of Charlie Gilmore. Everything's connected. There you go. School shooters in America. Well, what are you going to do about it? Mass shootings in America. It's like as American as apple pie. Woohoo! I'm a rootin' tootin' shootin' American. Yeehaw! Poo poo poo. Because you all want to be cowboys. You're all John Wayne. Everybody knows that. The Horde tour. Yeah, I remember Horde. Yeah. Payne says drum still scenes in Carolina Shine are the best. Oh fuck. Again, that's crazy. I showed the missus that. Watch this. Oh yeah, but it doesn't make the right sound. I mean, it's beyond Spinal Tap. It's like now, and I wasn't sure if that whole documentary was just a piss take. You know that they deliberately. It was just, you know, and they're getting the right and they go to IKEA. Sorry, IKEA. I must say it properly. IKEA. To get some stools with the right acoustic properties. Okay, fair enough. But then we realised in reflection, we realised the reason he's doing the stool sample is that Phil Collins couldn't play drums because he was in all manner of pain, and that's why he was playing the stools. Oh, stools! Isn't stools just funniest word? Almost up there with trousers. Where are we? I've lost the bloody questions. Why does it do that? Vanessa asked if I like pulp. I love pulp. You should know that. Yeah. Common people like you. Common people like you. Common people like you. I did a copy of Sunrise by them on my bad cover version. That's all you need to know. Great song. Love that song. Wixland said, if your channel is super small and get a few hundred views per video, maybe you can get away with copyright issues. That is the wrong answer. It doesn't matter the size of your channel. It's irrelevant. You can have one subscriber and they'll still come for you. Oh man, so naive. No, Queen went after Under Pressure because they took the whole bassline. The bassline is the song. You know, it's not like you chopped it up and made it into something different. There are people that use sampling really clever, in a clever fashion, and they chop up the samples and create some, It was just the bass line to Under Pressure. I just. Yeah, if I ran the world, you'd be the first lot against the bloody wall, because I know you're all subversives and you're all trying to get me out of power. So I've got my eye on you lot. Oh, I'm coming for you. I know where you live. Yeah. Oh yeah, when I tested the camera on Saturday, yeah. Well, when the kids and the missus go away to the in-laws, a couple of weeks, I'll probably I might even do a week's worth, or how many days they're away. I might do some more live streams then, because I'll be lonely, and I'll be sitting in my underpants eating pizza. It'll be great. Fasana says, is Rain or Shine on YouTube? There might be a dodgy copy out there. There's not an official one, I don't think. Oh, don't blame autism on being a monster. Seriously, fuck that shit. Autism. Yeah, got autism. Big fucking boo hoo hoo. Big blue hoo. That is just the worst fucking excuse. Oh, that really annoys me. Oh, it really annoys me. Anyway. Contentious Bones in. Governor of my state, Missouri, says, send your kids back to school. They'll catch COVID, but they'll be fine, really. Yeah. No, that's true, because your child has probably got more chance of being killed in a school shooting than dying of COVID-19. That's America for you. Contentious boner. Well, is the Genesis tour going ahead? I mean, really, We know that Cruise to the Edge has been postponed to 2022 because that's how long it's going to take them to get an insurer to cover the cost of that cruise. I mean, cruise ships, come on. You do not want to be on a cruise ship. Have you heard when they gave the diarrhea? It spreads like wildfire. COVID-19, you might as well just lick the door handles and be done with it. So Steve mate, if you're watching, Steve, don't go on the Cruise to the Edge, please. Don't do it, son. And if you do, wear one of those like hazmat suits with your own air supply. Might be a bit hard playing the guitar, but you'll look stylish. You'll look stylish. Yeah, the roadie went mad over the stool because he didn't find the right one. It's very strange. Cruise to the Edge, you see, they're all swingers. They all go there to fuck. They throw their album sleeves into the middle. No, they're signed album sleeves, I might add, and then they pair off with each other's missuses. Very progressive. Don't fancy it myself. Don't fancy it. Anyway, what time is it? Crikey, that is very late. You've been lovely, audience. I've got to go because it's getting late and I'm going to turn into a pumpkin. Remember, folks, we'll be doing this again soon. Remember, if you can't be good, be safe. But more importantly, don't tell your mother.